from watching what we eat to watching what we say, the Happy Ngidi crimen injuria case in which a man was found guilty of racial abuse and was sentenced to serving 720 hours in a mortuary section of a hospital has really shed some light on what we can and can't say. And I know that there's, of course, freedom of speech, which we all as South Africans respect greatly, but there's also the responsibility to treat people with dignity and respect. So what can and can't you say, especially on social media? I've got Susan Little here with me, who's a social media expert, who's going to shed some light on this issue. And Sue, I don't know, in your interactions working in social media, how often do you find what I think people are terming hate speech on and abuse on social media versus what is just kind of commentary that goes a little bit too far?
Well, Katlego, I've been engaging online since I was 14, and that's 18 years experience in seeing the hatred and the negativity that can come out of people's mouths online in this cloak of anonymity. And what surprisingly I've found is that depending on the subject matter, it's very difficult to determine whether it's completely negative or completely positive. And we use an online monitoring tool, Brand's Eye, that tells us actually the majority of conversations are neutral, but it's determined by the subject matter at hand.
Yes.
And when we're talking politics, religion, and all those difficult subjects, that's where the nastiness comes out.
Yeah, and rightly speaking, you know, politics, religion, the way the world works are all topics that people are interested in and topics that they have a right to express opinions
A strong opinion.
A very strong opinion on. But there's something called trolling on the internet. What exactly is trolling and what is defined as trolling, and where's that line between, okay, now you're not trolling anymore, now you're going too far?
Okay, so trolling is pretty much the behavior of acting in a deceptive manner. So you may have a name, but it's not your real name. It's a pseudonym or an alias. Others troll just completely anonymously because they're able to do so on a specific platform. But very much the behavior is disruptive.
Yes.
So you'll find that they'll go onto a news publication and their commentary is there to derail the conversation and what could be a really healthy debate and a really interesting topic that people want to share their opinions openly about. They come in there and just completely take that aside and start putting incorrect information, things that there's no evidence behind, there's no fact, and completely derailing their conversation. They're also very destructive, and that is where you get into cyberbullying. For me, destructive trolls are out there just to attack a person, and they get a rise out of seeing that emotion and that defense coming from that person, and that's what drives them.
And you talk about cyberbullying, which is, you know, other than bullying that we see, you know, at schools, kids are exposed to cyberbullying and it can be very dangerous and lead to some traumatic incidences. How do parents make sure that their children are not exposed to it, or how do they try and curb that exposure?
Well, for me, I must admit, cyberbullying, it's close to my heart because I was bullied as a child. Ironically, I joined the online world at age 14 because I could be anonymous. Ginger kids at school, we never get it easy. And so it was easier for me to hide behind an alias online and chat to people normally and let them get to know me. But what happened at school was that when the email came out, someone hacked into a friend's account and sent me a really nasty email. And for me, that was cyberbullying. And I usually wouldn't have spoken up, but I was very fortunate. My mother knew me really well, and she could tell what was going on, and she could tell that something was destroying me inside. I'd changed. And so that's what I would say to parents, just know your children, know their behaviors. And if they start withdrawing, and that once happy child, full of laughter and smiles, is withdrawing and feeling alone and sad, ask them, have that transparency in those honest conversations.
And quickly, finally, we were talking to William Booth, who's a legal expert, on the division line between when you're on social media, what is personal, this is me just as a person talking, versus I'm talking and representing the company that I work for, because a lady was fired from her job after racial commentary that she made online, on Twitter more specifically. Where does that line lie? In
my opinion, there is no line. In my opinion, if I send you a private WhatsApp message with my opinion, and you screen grab that WhatsApp message and put it on Twitter, it's my voice. I said it. My name is there. I have to stand by what I say. It's very easy for me to tell you face to face. Unless you're recording it like we are now, you can't hold it against me. It's in one ear, out the other. But the internet never forgets.
Yeah, whatever goes online stays online. Sue, thank you very, very much for that. We do really appreciate it. I think at the end of the day, to summarize it all up, is that it's all good and well to have an opinion, and have an opinion, a very well-informed opinion, but make sure that it does stay in bounds. Respect the dignity of people out there. Thank you very much, Sue. Really appreciate it. Ilana, over to you.